All right, so we have some Indiana Fever player news. Natasha Howard has signed. Now, I want to make this completely clear. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, I don't want Natasha Howard anywhere near her in basketball terms. Now, I'm not talking about as a person. I'm talking about Natasha Howard, the basketball player. I don't want anywhere near Caitlin Clark in an Indiana Fever uniform on Caitlin Clark's team. She was a bad fit. She was one of the people that hoodwinked us. Well, she didn't bamboozle us like DeWanna Bonner.
I don't want Natasha Howard anywhere near Caitlin Clark. Let me be unequivocally clear, in basketball terms, she was a disaster, a bad fit from day one for the Indiana Fever, especially with Clark on the horizon. This isn't about her as a person, it's about a player who actively hindered team chemistry and flow. The truth about her impact, or lack thereof, on Clark's burgeoning dynasty is finally out. This situation was an absolute train wreck, and the league is still reeling from the fallout. The decisions made regarding player contracts and team dynamics have reached a boiling point, threatening the entire season.
Would be going overseas, and she hadn't, processed everything that happened with the WNBA season, and she was going to go overseas and figure it out from there. Now, us fans, we let it be known. Congratulations, go overseas, play well, get your money. Just don't come back to the Indiana Fever. You are not wanted here. No disrespect. You can play on another team. You just was getting in the way of Caitlin Clark. You was trying to dribble the ball up the floor. You just was doing too much, and it was a bad fit. And I think Stephanie White and company should wear a bunch of the blame for that entire.
Howard's presence created a glaring incompatibility on the court, actively disrupting the rhythm Caitlin Clark was meant to establish. She wasn't just a poor fit, she actively undermined the team's potential, consistently trying to play a role far beyond her capabilities. While some players just quit, Howard at least showed up, but her misguided efforts were arguably more damaging. Imagine a player convinced they're the star, attempting to run the point when the true point guard of the future is waiting in the wings. This fundamental disconnect spelled disaster for any hopes of a cohesive unit, leading to an undeniable rift that fans immediately recognized.
One, the lady got here and was talking about winning the damn MVP. First girl, MVP? You like the fifth option on this team. What you talking about MVP? That was a bad sign right there. We should have already known what type of time it was going to be with her. She dribbling the ball up the court. She's flying, legs flying one way, dreads flying the other. It just was a bad fit. She can't shoot. She can't shoot threes at all, so there was no floor spacing. Now we got Aaliyah Boston trying to be a hub in Stephanie White's putrid trash offense. And it just was bad all the way around.
The news broke that Natasha Howard was joining Seishan in the WCBA, taking her talents overseas once again. This wasn't a surprise, it's a routine for her offseason. But this time, the fan reaction was different. A collective sigh of relief mixed with a blunt message. The sentiment echoed loudly, "Congratulations, go overseas, play well, get your money. Just don't come back to the Indiana Fever." It was an unprecedented, almost brutal, direct appeal from the fan base. The message was clear, devoid of malice, but firm. Her time with Clark's Fever simply had to end for the team to move forward.
Aaliyah Boston trying to be a hub in Stephanie White's putrid trash offense. And it just was bad all the way around. I'm very clear about the six we need to bring back. That is Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, and Michaela Timpson. Those need to be the six that the Fever protect in the expansion draft, and we go from there. Those are the six that need to return to this team, and that's that. Natasha Howard is not a part of this team going forward, and I will be livid if she is on.
The core issue wasn't just personality, it was pure basketball philosophy. Natasha Howard inexplicably was constantly trying to dribble the ball up the floor, behaving as if she were a primary ball handler. This wasn't a team with a clear point guard vacancy, it was a team preparing for Caitlin Clark. To make matters worse, she couldn't consistently shoot three-pointers, completely negating any floor spacing. This fundamental flaw choked the offense, leaving Aaliyah Boston struggling to operate in a putrid trash system that exacerbated these inefficiencies. Her self-perception as an MVP candidate, while being a clear fifth option, was a red flag from the start.
To this team, and that's that. Natasha Howard is not a part of this team going forward, and I will be livid if she is on this roster moving forward. But we're talking about moving forward, and we don't know if we'll actually be moving forward because we can't even get a damn CBA deal done. We can't get a deal done. It is the 22nd. It's the 22nd. It's 8 days left. We just saw the WNBA put out a $1.1 million offer, which what we thought.
Her arrival was marked by an audacious, almost delusional declaration. She aimed to win the DMN MVP. This wasn't just ambitious, it was a stark misreading of her role in the team's hierarchy. How could a player, realistically the fifth option on a rebuilding team, publicly declare such a personal goal without considering the team's actual needs? This statement alone was a sign, a flashing warning light that her individualistic approach would clash with the collective vision required for success, especially with a generational talent like Clark about to enter the picture. It was a signpost to the friction that inevitably ensued.
It's 8 days left. We just saw the WNBA put out a $1.1 million offer, which what we thought as fans, we thought when we saw the 1.1, and I'm saying us because I know y'all thought it too. When y'all saw 1.1, we thought that was the base salary. We didn't know it could get up to 1.1 on some NFL incentives type stuff. If you make the All-Star team, if you make first team All WNBA, if you win All-Star game MVP, if you win most improved, if you win MVP, if you win the first round, if you win the second round, if you...
Visually, her play was chaotic and counterproductive, dribbling up court, legs flying one way, dreads flying the other. It was a spectacle, but not one of efficient basketball. This frantic, uncomposed style perfectly encapsulated why she was such a mismatch for the discipline. Team-oriented play needed to maximize Caitlin Clark's abilities. Her inability to settle into a defined role, combined with her physical play, created a constant state of disarray. It wasn't about effort, it was about an unsuitability that was painfully obvious to anyone watching, especially in the context of building a winning franchise.
And the players are not going for it. And let's take a look more at what the players actually want. Here it says, the players do not want a fixed salary system and instead want one more based directly on revenue, such as the NBA, where the salary cap is determined by basketball-related income. Basketball-related income, they should just say Caitlin Clark-related income. CCRI, the Caitlin Clark-related income. We want to eat off that. We want to eat off Caitlin. Just say it. We know what it is. Here it says, the league previously said in this...
Looking forward, the vision for the Fever is clear. A core of 6 essential players must be protected at all costs. This list is non-negotiable for anyone serious about building a contender around Caitlin Clark. It includes Clark herself, the dominant Aaliyah Boston, sharpshooter Kelsey Mitchell, the dynamic Lexi Hull, strategic Sophie Cunningham, and the promising Michaela Tempson. These are the foundational pieces, the players whose skill sets and team-first mentality align with the new era. Any deviation from this core, any inclusion of incompatible elements, would be a detriment to the team's trajectory and Clark's impact.
A system that isn't tied to any part of the business and intentionally undervalues the players. So, as much as I don't want Natasha Howard on this team, it might not be no teams for her to sign to because we might not be getting a damn season the way things are looking right now. I just got, they said it's putting lipstick on a pig. These players is crazy. They are wild. Y'all, but hey, wait a sec. Y'all do know 850,000 ain't they? There's a lot of people that don't make that. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people not getting, you know what I mean? Come on now. In the current CBA, the salary cap increased annually by a fixed rate 3%.
The thought of Natasha Howard ever returning to this roster, especially now, evokes genuine fury. The speaker's sentiment is raw and unambiguous. I will be livid if she is on this roster, moving forward. This strong emotional reaction directly reflects the frustration and passion associated with building a winning team around a talent like Caitlin Clark. It's a testament to how crucial roster construction and player compatibility are perceived by the fan base. This isn't just about a player, it's about protecting the future, and any misstep, any reintroduction of a perceived hindrance would be seen as an unforgivable mistake. But what if there's no team for Natasha Howard to even sign with? Or any other player for that matter? The conversation quickly spirals into a much larger league-wide crisis, the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. We're talking about the fundamental contracts that define every player's future, including Caitlin Clark's potential earnings and the future of every Fever contract. The negotiation deadline is looming, just 8 days away, and a deal seems miles off. This overarching contract dilemma, impacting every player's livelihood, reveals a deep-seated tension. The entire league's future, and any new contracts, hangs precariously in the balance. The league's initial offer, a publicized $1.1 million, sparked immediate excitement and widespread misunderstanding among fans. We collectively believe this was a new revolutionary base salary, signaling a seismic shift in player compensation. The relief and optimism were palpable. Finally, players would be properly compensated, but the reality was a brutal awakening. This figure was not a base, but an incentive-laden maximum, achievable only through a series of difficult benchmarks, all-star selections, MVP awards, all WNBA teams, even winning specific playoff rounds. It was a complex web, not the straightforward pay raise everyone had hoped for. The actual base salary, buried beneath the incentives, remained stagnant at a paltry $800,000 to $850,000. This stark contrast between perception and reality is precisely why players are losing it at the negotiation table. They see a league exploding in popularity, particularly with the Caitlin Clark effect, yet their foundational compensation remains largely unchanged. This isn't just a negotiation, it's a battle for fair value, a fight against what they perceive as systematic undervaluation despite their increasing visibility and impact. The frustration is palpable, and the stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved. The players' primary demand is simple yet revolutionary for the WNBA, a salary system directly tied to revenue, mirroring the NBA's basketball-related income model. This isn't just about more money, it's about equitable profit sharing. Crucially, the speaker points out the obvious implication. They should just say Caitlin Clark-related income. This bold assertion highlights the undeniable financial surge driven by Clark's unprecedented popularity. Players want to eat off Caitlin, a direct acknowledgement that her impact is fueling the league's growth, and they deserve a proportional share of that new wealth. The league, in its defense, stated it proposed significant guaranteed salary cap increases and substantial uncapped revenue sharing. They painted a picture of growth and opportunity for the players. However, the players' union's response was sharp, dismissing the offer as merely putting lipstick on a pig. They argued it was a retread of a system that isn't tied to any part of the business and intentionally undervalues the player. This strong language signifies a complete breakdown of trust and a fundamental disagreement over the league's valuation of its athletes, especially in this moment of unprecedented visibility. Amidst the fiery rhetoric, a controversial perspective emerged regarding the players' demands for more. The speaker questioned the union's stance, provocatively stating, "Y'all do know 850,000. It's a lot of people that don't make that." This bold statement, while perhaps unpopular, underscores a different reality check for some. It highlights the vast disparity in earnings across society and injects a raw, unfiltered viewpoint into the high-stakes negotiation. It challenges the player's perception of being undervalued by comparing their current earnings to the broader economic landscape, adding another layer of complexity to the debate. The existing CBA, now on the verge of expiring, has severe limitations that have left players feeling shortchanged. It dictates a meager 3% annual increase in the salary cap, reaching a projected $1.5 million by 2025, a figure many deem insufficient given the league's burgeoning profile. Crucially, a separate revenue-sharing provision, designed to offer direct payments to players if certain financial targets were met, has never once been triggered throughout the entire agreement's duration. This stark reality means players have consistently missed out on promised additional income, fueling their deep distrust and current demands for change. The initial 30-day extension, meant to buy time for a resolution, is now rapidly approaching its expiration. The clock is ticking, amplifying the pressure on both sides to reach an agreement. This short-term truce, once a glimmer of hope, has become a ticking time bomb, pushing the league closer to a potential lockout or strike. The urgency is palpable. Without a new deal, the entire WNBA season could be in jeopardy. The fate of countless player careers, future Indiana Fever contracts, and the league's momentum hangs in the balance as this critical deadline approaches, without a viable solution in sight. Despite the internal turmoil over the CBA, external business deals are still moving forward, signaling the league's increasing commercial viability. Panini America and the WNBA Players Association just inked a groundbreaking licensing deal, touted as the largest in history for women's sports rights holders. This monumental agreement underscores the immense market value and growing appeal of WNBA players and their brands. It's a striking paradox. While players in the league struggle to agree on how to split the pie, external partners are recognizing and capitalizing on the unprecedented growth. The money is clearly there, just not yet shared equitably. The stark irony isn't lost on anyone. Record-breaking licensing deals are being signed, confirming the WNBA's explosive commercial growth, yet the fundamental contract that secures the players' livelihoods remains in limbo. It's a bizarre contradiction that highlights the deep-seated issues at play. This isn't a league struggling for relevance or revenue, it's a league struggling with internal financial distribution. The contrast is jarring. External confidence is at an all-time high, fueled by stars like Caitlin Clark, but internal agreement on fair compensation is nowhere in sight. The money is flowing, but not where the players believe it should be. The most dire consequence of this standoff is a chilling possibility: no WNBA season at all. If a CBA deal cannot be reached within the final days, the entire schedule could be canceled, sidelining every player, including the highly anticipated debut of Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a threat, it's a very real scenario that would devastate the league's momentum and squander an unprecedented opportunity for growth. The stakes are monumental, far beyond individual player contracts, threatening the very existence and future trajectory of women's professional basketball in the current climate. The clock is ticking down to zero. This entire saga, from Natasha Howard's ill-fitting role to the WNBA's contentious contract negotiations, reveals a league at a pivotal, perhaps breaking point. It's a battle not just for individual player salaries, but for the fundamental valuation of women's sports. The Caitlin Clark effect has exposed both the immense potential and the deep-seated financial inequalities within the WNBA. Can the league capitalize on this unprecedented moment, or will internal strife derail its most promising era yet? The future of professional women's basketball and the fairness of its contracts hangs precariously in the balance.